We all know that paying off credit card debt could be a very daunting task, but with the right strategies and determination, you can achieve the level of financial freedom that you're looking for. That's why in this video, I'm going to share with you 20 effective ways to help you pay off your credit card debt. So let's start with the first one. That is creating a budget, right? Now, I know everyone doesn't like to hear that, right? It's not the most exciting thing. It's very tedious. No one likes to hear about how they got to create a budget. But if you're going to be successful with money, then having a budget is crucial, right? Because you need to understand basically like where your money's being spent. And what a budget does, it helps you analyze and say, all right, you know what, what's coming in, what's coming out. And then from there, I know exactly how I can attack, paying down these credit cards. For a lot of people, and the reason why they find the task so daunting is because they're confused, they're unorganized, right? They don't know what's coming in, they don't know what's going out. They just know that they have bills to pay. But if you can create a budget, you can identify the money coming in and identify the money that's going out and have that in front of you, then you can say, all right, you know what, this is how much money I have left over. This is what I need to do. And this is how I can start attacking this credit card debt, right? It helps you create a plan. And for a lot of people, the reason why they find themselves unorganized is just that they don't have a budget and they have no idea where to start. So creating a budget is necessary if you're going to be successful with money. So the second way is making debt a priority. I think for a lot of people, when they're struggling with debt, and I've been here myself, is you want to ignore it, right? And it comes with not with just debt, but like any problem. Like you have a problem that the easy thing to do is just ignore it and act like it's not there. I think for a lot of people, they do that with debt, right? They're hoping that, if I just ignore it, I don't bring it up, maybe it'll go away. But of course, it never goes away because every month you got to pay that bill. So I think for a lot of people, you got to make it a priority. You got to say, you know what, I have this debt, acknowledge that it's there, and say, you know what, I have to attack this debt because it's not going to go away and it's not going to disappear on its own. You have to acknowledge that it's there and then say, you know what, here, I got to come up with a plan to make sure I attack this. So make paying that debt down a priority. And once you do that and you say, you know what, this is the situation at hand, then you'll come up with ways, different strategies in order to come and to make sure you pay that credit card debt off. Number 3, all right, paying more than the minimum. If you understand anything when it comes to credit card debt, that they carry a very high interest rate, right? As high as 25, 26%, sometimes higher. So you need to understand that paying down the minimum payment, paying that $25 a month, you're spending way too much money, right? You got to spend more than the minimum. You can't just go there and just say, you can pay $25 a month, because then you'll pay for that credit card debt forever. And what's going to happen is, as you're paying that minimum payment, what's going to happen is you're going to be also racking up more charges on that credit card. So therefore, you're going to be spending more money on that debt. So what you need to do, you need to find a place. You got to spend more than that minimum, whatever it is you can afford. And that's why it's important to have that budget, so you can see, all right, how much money do I have available to pay down this debt? Without that budget, you're not going to be able to say, what can I put on this credit card? Can I put more than $25 down on this payment, on this credit card payment every month? So once you have that budget, then you can say, you know what, every month I got to pay more than that minimum, whatever I can afford. And you want to create that budget so you can allocate a certain percentage to that credit card debt. Paying the minimum payment is not going to get it done. So you have to, make sure you find a way to say, how much can I spend? And with a budget, you can do that. Now, the fourth way is using the snowball method, right? And the way this works is, let's say you have 5 credit cards. You have 5 credit cards where you have a balance. What you're going to do is you're going to list all of those credit cards from lowest balance to the highest balance, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to be knocking them down from the lowest balance to the highest balance. And although this is not the most efficient way in terms of saving you money, it's more psychological, right? Because if you can knock down the smallest amount, let's say you have a $500 balance on your credit card, if you can knock that thing out, then it creates a little bit of momentum and say, you know what, I can actually do this. I can clear this debt. And for a lot of people, it's motivating. It's encouraging to say, you know what, I got the $500 down. Now I can get the next one. Whatever payment I was applying to that $500, you want to take those payments and then use it on that next one. So it's more psychological in terms of knocking down credit card debt, but it's not the one that's going to save you the most money long term. And that leads me to my 5th one, which is using the avalanche method, right? Of course, with the snowball method, you're using from lowest balance to highest balance. But with the avalanche method, you're going to be attacking the debt with the highest interest rate. Now, this is the most cost-effective way. This one helps you save the most money. But like I said, psychologically, it doesn't help you the best way as compared to the snowball method. So with this one, you're gonna list your debts from the highest interest rate, the APR, to the lowest, right? And as you're knocking that down, it's going to save you the most money long term. So that's the difference between the snowball method and the avalanche method, right? Snowball method, you just attack it from the lowest balance to the highest balance, and with the avalanche method, you're attacking the credit cards with the highest interest rate down to the lowest interest rate. So the sixth one is negotiating a lower interest rate, right? Now, what you need to do is, like, obviously credit cards, they carry such high interest rate. What you can do is, like, if you're struggling to make payments, what you can do is just call your credit card company and see if they can lower your interest rate. Obviously, the goal for them is to make the most amount of money, so they might reject it, but you never know, because obviously if they see you that you're struggling with a lot of debt, their main concern is making sure they get their money back. Obviously, they want to make money off the interest rates, but if they see that you're a risk and you're calling them saying, "Hey, look, I'm struggling. Like, it's hard for me to make payments every month. Is there some way that we can, find a way to lower the interest rate so I can, I can fit it within my budget?" Like I said, that's why it's important to create that budget. But if you can call them up and just at least talk to them, because they rather you discuss it with them, because they'll try to come up with a plan to make sure that you're able to make the payments, because they want you to make payments. They don't want you to default and then they lose money. They lose more money. So if they can, reduce that interest rate a little bit, lose some money on that, make sure that they can at least get the money that you owe them, they'll do that. So I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. Who knows if they'll accept it or not, but it doesn't hurt to try. Number 7. Increase your income, right? This is the obvious one, right? Now, I'm sure I could easily put this one on top, but the thing is, like, just because you make more money doesn't mean that it's just gonna be easier for you to pay off your credit card debt, right? And obviously, you would think so, but it's not the income, like, because if you don't have good spending habits, it doesn't matter how much money you make, right? And you see that with athletes, you see that with people that make a lot of money. They're still living paycheck to paycheck. I think there was a report on article on CNBC that said 6-figure earners still living paycheck to paycheck. So even though that you make a lot of money, doesn't mean that you're not someone that can live paycheck to paycheck. If you have bad spending habits, it doesn't matter how much money you make. But obviously, if you can increase your income somehow, whether it's asking for a raise or getting a side hustle, this is clearly a good way for you to be able to knock out your credit card payments much quicker. Assuming that you're obviously creating a budget, you have your spending habits are better. Creating income is obviously one of the best ways to do that. So number 8 is, let's say that you can't increase your income, or you're not sure yet how to do that. The next, number 8, is obviously reducing your expenses, right? And like I said, going back to that budget, if you create that budget, you have it listed all your expenses on that spreadsheet. So then you can go through that list and say, you know what, all right, I need to knock this out, take this out. I don't need this. This subscription, whatever it is, knock it out, reduce your expenses. That's the more expenses that you reduce from your expense, from your budget, that's more money that you can be available to help pay off that debt. So cutting expenses is a great way to do that. Create that budget so then you can go through that list and then go through all the things, all the items that you don't need. Number 9, use windfalls wisely. And what a windfall is just unexpected money that comes in, like, let's say a refund check, right? Or let's say a cousin or a grandmother gave you some money, you fell into some money, or you won the lottery, or whatever it is. Like, whatever money that comes into you unexpectedly, use it wisely. Don't take that money and say, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go on vacation, or I'm gonna buy a TV, or a new car. Use that money to pay off the debt, right? That's simple. Like, a lot of people have the tendency to, like, when money falls down to them and they say, oh, now I can buy XYZ. Don't do that. Go to that credit card and say, you know what, knock all that off. Trust me, it's a much better investment. You get a much better return on your investment, and you'll feel so much better. So make sure, if you ever come to some money, especially when it comes to tax time, use that money to pay down your debt. All right, and finally, stop using credit cards, right? Obviously, it's self-explanatory, right? The quickest way is just not to get in debt, period. So stop using your credit cards, right? Just stop using it. Like, use cash, use your debit card. If you're someone that can't manage using that credit card, cut that thing up, close the account. Although I wouldn't recommend that, because that's going to hurt your credit score. But cut it up and just put that thing to the side until you get better spending habits, or you can manage your money better. But stop using your credit cards is a great way to help you pay off your debt. And if you're someone that can't control their spending, or you have obviously impulse spending, get rid of the credit cards, put it aside, get it out of your view so you don't have to use it, right? So that's all I got for you guys today. If you got any comments or questions, make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, all right? So you guys take care, have a good one. Later.